The Hunger Games, The Hunger Games, A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. A completely unnecessarily long title. Is the name of the book, John. Don't give a fuck. You could have changed the name of the title. Anyway, it's a dumb title. Even after watching the movie, it's a stupid title. So we've been hearing some pretty good things coming out. I've talked to a couple people who saw earlier screenings of it and absolutely loved it. I've read some people that I know online saying, not so much. Whatever. Last I checked, it had like a 60 plus something % on Rotten Tomatoes, what have you. So I went into it really interested because I'm not the biggest fan of the original Hunger Games movies, except for the second one. I think it was called Catching Fire. I loved that movie. I thought that one was great. Kind of mediocre on the rest of them, whatever. But the promotions and the marketing for this one had me very intrigued. And so it was with that feeling that I went off to go watch it. And I'll say this, I didn't really like it. There are some very good things about it. All right. Let me talk about the good things about it to start. Some of the way they play out the drama is it makes you feel it. You do kind of feel the horror of this world where they are literally going to murder children for entertainment as a way of making a point or making a statement or whatever. And they do a good job, maybe even better than the original Hunger Games movies, to let you feel that kind of horror that you're in. And I get that. Also, I would be remiss if I did not talk about the performances. All the performances in this movie are incredible. Viola Davis as the game master creeped me the hell out. I mean, obviously Viola Davis is going to be in it. Oh, Viola Davis is going to be brilliant. Well, of course she is. She's Viola Davis. But she brought a character to the screen unlike any character. She's played a lot, unlike any character I've seen her perform before. And she instantly made me hate her and fear her and think she was cool all at the same time. And when you're able to do that, that's something else. Also under the no duh category is Peter Dinklage was great. Oh, and he was. Peter Dinklage was wonderful. It's not the biggest role in the movie. It's definitely a smaller supporting role, but it's a pivotal role. And he's at the beginning of the movie. He's at the end of the movie. He sells it. You feel it. He's so good in this. I loved him in this. But let me talk for a second about the leads. Tom Blyth, who's been in a lot, but I honestly don't know even if I've ever seen him. He's got a long resume. It's just that not a lot of stuff that a lot of us would be familiar with. I didn't know if this kid, who I've not really seen much from, if anything, how well he was going to be able to come in and be a lead in a major motion picture like this. I cannot wait to see whatever he does next. I thought he was so good as Coriolanus. Is that how you say it?
Coriolanus, yeah.
Okay. All I know is that anus is in his name. Snow, he does such a great job channeling a younger Donald Sutherland. And who is this person that becomes the monster, President Snow? Did a wonderful, seriously, it's been a while since I've seen a first exposure to somebody that I've been this taken with. He was great. I really enjoyed him in it. Also, Rachel Zegler. I saw her in West Side Story, and like most people, that was the first time I ever saw her in anything. And I loved her in that. But is that a one-hit wonder? Couldn't really tell from her appearance in Shazam 2 because there wasn't much there and like for her to do and whatever. So that was an outlier. Could she come into another franchise and do something? She's awesome in this. And in case West Side Story didn't convince you that she is the best singer in Hollywood right now, this movie will finish the argument. She's the best singer in Hollywood. All due respect to the remarkable Halle
Bailey.
Halle Berry.
Yeah.
No.
Is it?
All due respect to the Little Mermaid, who's
Halle
fantastic.
Halle Bailey.
Halle Bailey.
My brain was freezing.
Yes. But Rachel Zegler is the best singer in Hollywood. It's just, she's got a charisma and she's going to have Oscars on her mantle. Not from this movie, but she's going to have Oscars on her mantle at some point. Now, I understand that Rachel is a little bit of a polarizing figure right now because there are some grown men who don't like some opinions she has about a 1939 animated movie. Honestly, I don't know how big of a bitch your mom needed to raise for that to trigger you. But that being said, she's phenomenal.
Also, none of that was original. Like, I've heard those statements made
Other
for
people,
20 years.
So whatever. It is what it is. But my goodness, when you talk about how much some of the drama really worked, they set up the terror of the world and these across the board, fantastic performances. Why didn't I like the movie? And it's a couple things that in other places wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it really stood out to me in this film. Number one, horrible pacing.
Yep.
Horrible pacing.
Hard agree on that.
Yeah, I just, they made like edit decisions and scene arrangement decisions and even some scenes that they felt that had to be in the movie that really didn't need to be there. And even some scenes that were important scenes, but they played out at such a dragging pace that I often just felt myself getting anxious as like, come on, like have something happen here. Do something. Have an important conversation. Do something here. And connected with the pacing issue is this was a movie that was much longer than it needed to be honest with you. And for me, a very unsatisfying ending. You know how a lot of people say that there's like 5 different endings in Lord of the Rings, Return of the King? Like, I kind of felt that a little bit in this movie too. Like, the movie really kind of should have ended not long after the Hunger Games ended. And then they carried out to have this character resolution between the two leads that I found odd and very unsatisfying. And yeah, so despite this is going to be one of those movies, there's some really good high points about it. The building blocks were all there. For me personally, though, I don't plan on ever watching this movie again. I didn't hate it by any stretch, clearly, but in a recommend or don't recommend world, I'm kind of left saying I don't recommend it. It's just, and that makes it frustrating, Chris, when you have so many really good aspects and elements there. You'd think it frustrates you even more when at the end of the day, you weren't really satisfied with the product. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Guys, the holidays are right around the corner, and HelloFresh can help take the stress out of dinner by delivering everything you need to cook up tasty meals right to your door, saving you tons of time. We all know the holidays can be hectic, and that's where HelloFresh's 15-minute meals come in. These quick fixes help you get a wholesome meal on the table in less time than it takes to get delivery. I've told you guys many times before that Ann and I, being working professionals, often would struggle when it comes to dinner time, having time to put something that tastes good and is healthy for us in front of us. Well, HelloFresh, with their great delivery, pre-portioned ingredients, easy to follow instructions, has made dinner time a fun time. So go to HelloFresh.com/CampeaFree and use the code CampeaFree for breakfast for life. 1 breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/CampeaFree with the code CampeaFree. But anyway, that was me. What did you think about Songbirds and Snakes?
Tom Blyth is a star in the making. He is wonderful, because my big issue going into this was, why the hell would I care about this movie at all? Why would I care about what happened to President Snow when he was a teenager? He's a bad, bad man. I don't give a shit. And I found myself rooting for him in the beginning of this film of, oh my gosh, yes, I agree with this. Oh my gosh, I hope he gets this. Oh, I can see why he feels this way. I can totally empathize with him. But because of that uneven pacing, we have everything broken up into about 3 chapters in this. Particularly once we get to that third final chapter, Act 3, the pacing is so odd and the positioning of these characters is so out of left field that it doesn't feel natural. It feels so forced that if the whole point of this movie is for me to understand how he becomes who he is, Why would you rush some of the most important
Yeah.
stuff about how he becomes this?
Yeah.
Why would you not have him understand the consequences to certain actions as he's thinking about doing certain things? It's just some of that, and I understand he's about 21 maybe in this, but and I know I wasn't the brightest bulb in the box when I was 21, still not, but there's just certain things in the movie that are so. We have to do this for the sake of getting this to the trajectory we need it to go, that it didn't make sense, though, for these characters to make those choices. And it left me at the end going, oh, so yeah, I didn't need this movie. And that's a shame, because there were some really great shining moments. Her singing is fantastic, especially those moments where she just has like that emotional hitch in her voice.
Yeah.
It's really well done, because honestly, this could have gone a very kind of Riverdale way of, oh, she's
Yes.
going to sing her way out of some scenarios.
Yes.
Okay. And instead, it's this beautiful emotional stuff where you understand, and what we talked about previously about what this movie could do is, oh, if you are televising an atrocious event, how do you get your audiences to care about that atrocious event?
Right.
You manipulate them. You make them feel for certain people.
Make
You
them
have
care.
them root for people. Exactly, which is the whole thrust of this film. And it's a really interesting commentary on how we present media, how we present competitions, how we present war and all of those things, and propaganda as a whole. But then it all just kind of falls flat because of that. I do also, though, want to talk about Jason Schwartzman in this movie.
As the younger version of
Yes. Of Caesar's dad.
Yes.
I freaking loved him. His little one-liners and stuff. It's so jarring because something truly horrific will happen, and then he commentates, and just chef's kiss for me on that. I thought he was a delight.
Ray, you were in the theater with me last
Hey,
night.
this movie is way too long. I'm going to cut you off right there. This movie is way too long. Going straight into this movie straight from work. I was planning to take a nap because I knew what I was in for. I was mid halfway through the trailers. I was passing out already. But the crazy thing is, whenever I did wake up throughout the movie, there's a traumatizing visual on the screen with sounds. I'm into true crime, seeing crime scene photos and stuff like that. But when it comes to kids brutalizing each other, I had to turn away. Some of the visuals in this that I woke up and saw was they're still in my head. So
Yeah.
if, like, you know what I mean? Like I don't like any of what's going on in the Hunger Games.
You know what? We should do a reaction watch along of you watching Battle Royale.
See, that's the thing. Okay, when I watched the first
Watch
Hunger
you
Games,
squirm.
I had no idea of this battle
Royale
royale.
movie, yeah.
So I liked the first Hunger Games just because the concept was so crazy to me. But as it kept going on and on, I think I lost like my interest in it, and that told it. I mean, it shows from last night. Nothing was keeping me awake in this film. But you know what? Anne loved it. And she said that.
Oh yeah, my wife, and your sister, my wife loved it.
And
Loved
there
the
was
movie.
another person, as soon as I walked out, she's like, that's the greatest movie ever. And she started talking about the book with her boyfriend or whoever she was with. So, hey, there's some fans of it. There's some people who are going to like this movie.
My
Oh,
friend Jim-
absolutely. I mean, like I said, the majority of critics like it.
Yeah. It's got a 91 audience on Rotten Tomatoes, 61% from the tomato meter. My friend Jim read the book too, and he was saying that the pacing of the book is very similar to this.
Yep.
Oh, okay, that's what we're doing now. That's happening. So it's a faithful adaptation.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.